can't believe these songs have already turned 40. Back in 1984, they were a true revolution. And 4 decades later, they still sound as powerful as they did the day they were released. Today, we're traveling back in time to relive 10 legendary songs from 1984 that have already crossed the 40-year mark. Will you remember them all? Let's begin. Number 10. Jump, Van Halen. Eddie Van Halen had been sitting on that keyboard riff for years. He first wrote it on his Oberheim OBXA in 1981, but every time he played it for the band, David Lee Roth pushed back. A guitar hero had no business playing synthesizers, Roth argued. Eddie refused to let the idea die. He built his own 5150 studio and recorded the demo there. When producer Ted Templeman heard it, he called it a hit. Roth wrote the lyrics, and Van Halen recorded a song unlike anything they had released before. Jump reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 in February 1984 and stayed there for 5 weeks. It became Van Halen's only number 1 single and turned the band into a pop culture phenomenon. That keyboard riff and Eddie's explosive solo still fill arenas, proving that sometimes the boldest move a guitarist can make is putting the guitar down. Number 9. Radio Gaga, Queen. The song started with a toddler. Roger Taylor was in Los Angeles with his young son Felix when the boy heard a bad song on the radio and muttered, "Radio Caca." Taylor laughed, sat down at his Roland Jupiter 8, and began building the song. At first, it was a criticism of commercial radio. Freddie Mercury disagreed. He wanted something that celebrated radio instead of attacking it. So Taylor rewrote the lyrics, and Radio Gaga was born. The song became a huge hit across Europe and one of Queen's greatest live anthems. At Live Aid in 1985, thousands of people at Wembley clapped above their heads in perfect time, creating one of the most unforgettable moments in rock history. 4 decades later, Radio Gaga still feels like a love letter to the airwaves. Those giant hand claps still echo through every performance, reminding us that even in the age of streaming, someone still loves the radio. Number 8. Rock You Like a Hurricane, Scorpions. Released in February 1984, this song was born out of pure chaos. Rudolf Schenker had written the music on tour, but the lyrics went through several different versions before anyone was satisfied. Drummer Herman Rarebell even suggested a far more explicit title, one the record company rejected immediately. The band settled on Rock You Like a Hurricane, blending Schenker's crushing riffs with lyrics that balanced rebellion and provocation. When the band's management heard it, they knew they had a hit. They were right. The song became one of Scorpions' biggest international successes and the defining anthem of 80s hard rock. That unforgettable riff and explosive chorus still shake arenas today, proving that some songs never lose their power. If these songs have already taken you 4 decades back, like and subscribe so we can keep reliving the greatest music in history together. Let's keep going. Number 7. Time After Time, Cyndi Lauper. This ballad almost never happened. Lauper thought her album She's So Unusual was finished, until her producer told her she was 1 song short. She and co-writer Rob Hyman went back into the studio. Lauper flipped through a TV guide looking for inspiration, and a listing for the 1979 film Time After Time caught her eye.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me.
They ditched the movie's plot about H.G. Wells and Jack the Ripper and wrote something entirely different. A song about standing by someone even when everything falls apart. The record label wanted it as the lead single, but Lauper refused. She feared being typecast as a balladeer and insisted on releasing Girls Just Wanna Have Fun first. When Time After Time finally came out, it climbed to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. 4 decades later, her voice still carries the same raw vulnerability, and the song remains one of the most honest portraits of devotion ever recorded. Number 6. Pride in the Name of Love, U2. Released in September 1984, this song began as something completely different. Bono originally wanted to write about Ronald Reagan's military pride and the nuclear tensions of the era. But after reading biographies of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, he changed course. The melody had been improvised during a sound check in Japan, born from a mistake that the band turned into a new direction. Bono wrote the lyrics at his home in a Martello Tower in Ireland, and the song became a tribute to King's nonviolent resistance. The song reached number 33 on the Billboard Hot 100, becoming U2's first top 40 hit in America. 4 decades later, Pride still sounds like a call to action, a reminder that one voice speaking love into the world can still shake the walls of power. Number 5. When Doves Cry, Prince. This was the last song Prince recorded for the Purple Rain album. He walked into Sunset Sound Studios in Los Angeles and laid down every instrument himself in a single marathon session that lasted from 3:30 in the afternoon until 7:30 the next morning. The song had everything: a blistering guitar intro, a Lin LM1 drum machine, and a vocal that cut straight to the bone. But something was wrong. Prince pulled the bass line out of the mix entirely. His engineer, Peggy McCreary, watched him mute the track and smiled. Warner executives questioned it. A dance song with no bass was unheard of. But Prince refused to compromise. This is what it sounds like when doves cry. The song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and stayed there for 5 weeks. It became the best-selling single of 1984 and redefined what a pop song could be. 4 decades later, that missing bass line is still the most powerful silence in the history of popular music. Number 4. Forever Young, Alphaville. Released in September 1984, this song was born in fear. Alphaville was based in West Germany, right in the shadow of the Cold War. NATO's Able Archer exercise had nearly triggered a nuclear exchange months earlier, and Pershing II missiles were being deployed across Europe. For young people living in that reality, the future was not guaranteed. Every sunrise felt like a small miracle. Marian Gold sat down to write a song that captured that fear, the desire to remain young and alive in a world that could end at any moment. The song peaked at number 4 in Germany and became a massive hit across Europe. Four decades later, Forever Young has outlived the Cold War that created it. It is proof that a song written in the shadow of annihilation can become an anthem of hope for generations who never knew that fear. Number 3. Drive, The Cars. This was the biggest hit the Cars ever had. Rick Ocasek wrote it, but he did not sing it. He handed the vocal to bassist Benjamin Orr, whose ghostly, fragile delivery turned the song into something far more haunting than Ocasek ever imagined. The lyrics tell the story of someone watching a person they love spiral downward, asking who is going to pick them up when they fall, who is going to pay attention to their dreams, who is going to drive them home. The song climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. When Orr died in 2000, Drive was played at his memorial service. 4 decades later, that question still hangs in the air. Who's gonna drive you home tonight? It is a reminder that some songs are not just hits. They are prayers disguised as pop music.
Who's gonna drive you home?
Number 2. Runaway, Bon Jovi. Released in 1984, this song existed before Bon Jovi was even a band. John Bon Jovi wrote it in 1982 with collaborator George Carrick, but he could not get a record deal. He was working as a janitor at the Power Station, the New York studio owned by his cousin Tony Bon Jovi, and used every connection he had to record a demo with session musicians. The demo sat unheard until John walked into the new radio station and handed it to DJ Chip Hobart and promotion director John Lassman. They loved it, played it repeatedly, and entered it into a contest for unsigned local bands. Runaway won.
She's a little runaway.
That success caught the attention of A&R executive Derek Schulman, who signed John to Mercury Records. The band Bon Jovi was formed around a song that had already been recorded by strangers. Runaway became the band's first top 40 hit and launched one of rock's biggest careers. Number 1. I Wanna Know What Love Is, Foreigner. Released at the end of 1984, this song was Mick Jones' most personal creation. He had been searching for something spiritual, something beyond Foreigner's usual hard rock sound. He wrote the song and went looking for a gospel choir to give it the power he could not create alone. He found the New Jersey Mass Choir, a group that had never recorded a mainstream album before. They gathered at Right Track Studios in New York. Then the choir formed a circle, held hands, and recited the Lord's Prayer together. The next take was the one. Mick Jones was in tears. He invited Atlantic Records president Ahmet Ertegun to hear it. When the first chorus hit, tears were rolling down his cheeks. The song reached number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became Foreigner's only chart topper. 4 decades later, it still sounds like a cathedral built out of longing. These gems from 1984 show us that time only makes great music even greater. If you've made it this far, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. See you in the next video.